I would like to start this provider webinar by thanking the Virginia Board of for People with Disabilities, Independence Center for making this possible. This is our disclaimer, and we want to make sure that everyone continues to support this project because it is such critical information for all providers. We are going to continue the series, and I'm going to stop sharing so that I can introduce our speaker, Angela Aldave, who is the Director of Community Relations, Director 2, Community Relations, Office of Experience and Engagement. A little bit about this series. It's for providers, educating our providers on cultural information relating to serving Latino families with disabilities. Fairfax County Public Schools serves about 182,000 students from diverse cultural backgrounds, representing over 200 languages, with over 35% of our total student population economically disadvantaged, eligible for free or reduced price meals, 16.3 receiving special education services, and 21% identified as multilingual learners. The need for intentional intercultural engagement is essential. I want to thank Angela for being here today and supporting us from Fairfax County Public Schools, our ASL interpreters, and everyone who has made this project possible. But I will let Miss Angela take over.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be here today. Again, my name is Angela Aldave. I'm the Director of Community Relations for Fairfax County Public Schools. I'm honored, and when I was presented with this opportunity, it really fills my heart because it's something very engraved into what we are doing in community relations, and I will be able to share right now. Let me go start the presentation, screen 2, and I hope everyone can see the presentation at the moment. Okay, so as you see, I just wanted to briefly share the topic for today's foster intercultural engagement for all families in FCPS. And we're gonna dive into more of what it means for FCPS, the intercultural piece. I'm so grateful that finally I have a team, and any of those wonderful staff members will be around when we are in the community engaging with all families. The manager for intercultural engagement is Gracie Mendez. We also have Emily Dean, the administrator for business and community partnerships, and Simone Gates Wins is the specialist, and Gonzalo Bernard is another specialist for intercultural engagement. So why intercultural engagement? Especially for families with special education, it's just more than the translation, if you think it in that perspective. It's more into building trust, dignity, and inclusion. Some families may come from diverse backgrounds where disabilities might be a stigma or misunderstood. Others have never heard of the IEP. Our job is to walk alongside them, not just deliver information, but ensure that they feel valued and supported. Engagement includes adapting the communication styles, being mindful of any trauma, past negative experience, and building the capacity over time. Not only we work with the family, but also with the staff internally in FCPS. When schools collaborate with families as partners, students' outcomes improve academically and emotionally. We truly value the cultural awareness plus accessibility that lead us to intentional engagement. As you can see, the numbers and statistics of FCPS demographics, we also not consider multilingual families for their native language. We also consider them as what they are bringing to the table and how can we navigate the multiple systems that FCPS has and how can we make them all ones. So we take in consideration the language, their learning needs, transitions, trauma, all at once, kind of a holistic approach to consider how can we provide that support to the family. With that knowledge, we also bring it to the table to our other offices and make them also understand where family is coming from. The intercultural engagement team is a bridge between the families and the schools and the community, especially when language, disability, and cultural understanding are potential barriers. We know that navigating special education can feel overwhelming, and in cultural differences or limited English proficiency, and families may feel isolated. We partner with other departments to make sure families get the support they need. It's not just about sharing the information for us, it's about building a real and understanding us all together. Every culture views disability differently. We listen, respect, and support families where they are. When working with us, we're helping creating an environment where all families are welcome and valued. We see intercultural engagement not only when you talk about a culture from another country, is basically how can we bring them. Different groups have different cultures. So how can we bring those cultures to meet in the middle, understand each other, and we can progress and make us more inclusive in this way. Families need a time support to understand special education. Some may be new to these services or new to the country and the U.S. school system. We try to be patient, clear, and kind. It goes a long way. Building trust takes time, and it's over time that we create those relationships. Not just is a one-time meeting. When we show respect for their journey, family feels safe and included. We not only build the relationship with those families, we build the relationship with our partners. Our community partners for us are very key essential element of this community engagement that we build. Once we create that connection with our partners, we not only educate the families, but we educate and work together with our partners that then provide a solid and continuous understanding of the system with the groups they work with. When we talk about clear communication and strong family community partnerships, we are talking about the audience, who we're talking to, what are you trying, the message, what are you trying to convey, and the delivery of the message is also very important. How are we sharing the message? We work very closely with the Office of Communications to see how can we help the school system deliver those messages in a meaningful way. So we are kind of in between the world of communications and engagements. They convey, they also intertwine, but at the same time, we try to work together for our families. Keep it simple, visual, compassionate, and easy to understand in any language is very important for us. Sometimes even symbols can mean different things for different languages, and we have to pay attention to those details. I have a video that I would like to show today, but I jump to this slide. This is a very important slide for us. In all our community engagement, especially when we have engagement with the superintendent, we do have ASL interpretations and language interpretations as an accommodation for all our families. This is a standard for all FCPS community meetings. We try to also support all the other departments to do the same. ASL is not about just disability, it's about the culture and the identity. ASL is the third most studied language in the US high school and colleges. Including ASL in school shows, we value all forms of communications. This is a true engagement, look like a welcoming every voice. And that's what we saw in the show of the Super Bowl in 2023 when it was included. But also we have to realize that I think the public was also hoping that it was shown at the same, had the same real estate in our TV as the regular singers. So that is also important. It's not that only we support them, but give them the importance that ASL deserve, because we all need to be together and understand the message. Now we're going to go over some of the information that we typically share with all our families, and it's important for families always sharing and promoting our trust policy. But we also have now in that same page a page that provide any resources for our immigrant families, and we honor them as well, providing them some resources that FCPS has put together. You can find them in the trust policy page for FCPS. We have videos for the trust policies in many languages, in our main languages, and you can also have captions on all those messages. Now we're going to cover social media. The reason why we are sharing, and in this presentation I'm sharing the resources from FCPS and how we communicate, is very important for our families, community partners, and everyone that is connected to FCPS, seeing the different ways that we are trying to reach our families. Maybe if you're not aware of, you have any family, friends that need these resources, please share with them. So we are all in, we're in this together, and we want to share as much as possible in diverse language, but most is the intentionality of how our families are getting the information from. So as I was sharing, it's important for all of us in the community to understand the different method that FCPS has to communicate with our families. In communications, when you're trying to talk about how to reach our communities, we talk about 7 touches. It's 7 ways that we reach out our communities. And it's very important to understand all the methods. So whenever we miss an email, we have another source of information as well. And we try to, with the communication office, have a consistent communication plan. So whenever an information goes out through via an email, it goes out in different platforms so our families are informed. That's the case of our social media. Back in 2023, we started also the social media in Korean. So now we not only have social media in Spanish, we have it in Korean, and it's a social media that reflect the English on social media. So my team, the wonderful staff member that you saw at the beginning of the presentation, they help me, and we work very close together with interpreters and help them try to get the information from the English post and trying to be culturally responsive and translate that in a voice that will relate with these 2 cultures. So we not only translate the messages that come from the English social media, but we also put some intentionality in the message. So please, you can share them. They are all linked, and you can always find information in all those 3 languages. We hope to expand, but at the moment, with the team that I have, that's what we are doing. We also have Twitter in Spanish. We still keeping Twitter in Spanish. We do not have Twitter in English. They stopped that, but we have seen some schools that are still using for their communities. So we are keeping it up until we see that schools at the school level, they stop, and then we will reconsider. But at the moment, you can still find information in Spanish through Twitter or X, what is now called X. We also have the YouTube en español. That's kind of our multilingual video platform. It also reflects most of the messages that comes from the English channel, but with the difference that sometimes we do also, and if you see the first and the second images on the screen, those are voice recording. Information that come from the superintendent, we try to make them as a voice recorder. So we send it to our multilingual families on a link via text, so they can also hear what is written in that letter in their own language. The goal is to keep all families informed and trying to give them a way to, if they cannot access the letters through an email, through text, that letter will be read out loud via YouTube. We try to do it in Korean as well, depending on the availability of our language service interpreters. We also wanted to show you how to get the information from our website in different languages. Before, it was easier for us to send you a link with a language switcher, but the website changed and have a different platform now. And it is very important for us to share with our community and community partners to teach our families that they can always go to the right corner that would say English in that square, and there is a drop down and you can select the language that you prefer. The same thing happened on a cell phone, and you see the image at the bottom. Another interesting feature that was implemented back in 2023 as well was the text to read out loud. So if you see that bar with the play button, that bar, if you click in that triangle, it will actually read the entire web page for you. And it's not only when, and it's written in English, it read it out in English, Spanish, and Korean. It also not for families, the multilingual families per se, but also for families. Sometimes I just want to hear while I'm driving about that page, and now we all have the opportunity. So those are very nice features that the website has right now. As we continue, we want to share a difference between FCPS This Week. These are both newsletters. Our families sometimes only receive the News You Choose. News You Choose is a little different than the FCPS This Week. FCPS This Week is the district-wide. It comes from central office. It's the newsletter that provides you information at a central office level. The News You Choose is specifically for your schools. Both are very important newsletters for you to subscribe. The FCPS This Week, you can find it in fcps.edu, and there is a button at the end that you can subscribe. And the News You Choose newsletter is through your school website. So we have also two websites that you have to have in mind. One is FCPS website that will give you information for the entire county. And why that is important? Because we live in a community, and you need to also be part of those bigger events that is happening in the community, not only at your school, but your middle school level and your high school level, so you can start understanding what is that your child from whenever they are kindergarten is going to go through until high school. So, and building those communities are very important for all family members. Both newsletters are available in multiple language. When you click on the link that is provided on your newsletter, you will be sent to the website, and you can use the language switchers as I mentioned before in my previous slide. eNotify is the message platform that FCPS use to send families messages via email and text and voice. Sometimes it does those robocalls as well. So as I was mentioning before, we have the new voice recording. Those are for superintendent message and very important message information that need to be shared. They are human recorded, and our interpreters will read them out loud. So you have the same letter that is sent home. You can see them, you can hear them on that recording. It's very important for us, and that's why we put back again the YouTube on the right side. You will see that you can go and check previous messages that were read out loud, and we keep them there for information purposes so families can go back and refer to them. We also have Family Academy. Family Academy, and I hope that you have heard about Family Academy, is a portal that it was created with the intentionality that brings all resources for families in one place. Through the years, we have been able to see that families need some guidance and support. And as much as TPS staff was there to provide that, they needed a place where it will be easier for them to navigate some of the resources, webinars, training, courses, any classes that Family and School Partnership, the office is giving, or any other big event that is happening that is in Family Academy. So right now in the FCPS website, if you go on fcps.edu and the website comes up and you click in families, the Family Academy will be one of the icons underneath. You click on the Family Academy and you will be able to see all the events, learning opportunities and webinars that are currently happening. Inside that Family Academy, my team support the Family Academy community support beyond the classroom. We update that website with resources for the community. From it can be at the various resources, and we try to now work closely with community partners to put resources as needed, and that's what my team is now working on. So we encourage any community partners to provide us with the information, and we will be happy to put there. And also we promote a page to our families so they have a place to go and see resources. At the moment, we have some. One of the most important one is for our families, our moms and dads to learn English. We put resources that we find around the county and we put it there for your convenience. And now we have some questions.
There was one question in the Q&A, and it was asking if the videos have caption, if there is any way that the videos that you share can have captions.
Videos on the YouTube channels, they do have captions.
Okay.
There are videos on our YouTube channels that we also work with language services to have those captions in that particular language. So if it's a video in Korean, it has gone through the Korean interpreter and be able that those captions are accurate. Sometimes it takes us a little time. No, the English version will go out first, and then while we work with our language interpreters, it takes a little time for them to be uploaded, but we are trying to be as accurate as possible.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else, how do you know that what you are doing makes a difference?
That's a very important question for us. When we started, we did focus groups with families with Spanish, Korean, some special education families back in 2023. We are in the process of doing it back again for our families in 2025 and in the school year 25-26 to see if it really provides some support, or along the way, how can we improve? How can we bring some other strategies that will provide that support that family needs? We also work closely together, as I mentioned, with the communication department and trying to make all of these ideas, the website, resources, and see of accessibility to be in place. And with Family and School Partnership, we also try to follow the family engagement survey that goes every 2 years and see how can we improve, or what is going well that we have to keep supporting with the FCPS staff.
Thank you. And there's a few more questions in the chat. What strategies do you recommend for a nonprofit agency to better reach the Latino population?
Nowadays, I think it's very important to have consistent communications, and that's how my hope and collaboration with all community partners is to stay together and share the message. The reason why right now our Hispanic or Latino community is in a very difficult situation, and they are not attending meetings as they used to. So how can we truly support them if families are not showing up? And that's the voice that I want to bring to the table. The strength will be us, the community partners, the school system, everyone that is working with our community to work together, share the message, make a strong commitment that we share not only what FCPS has to offer, but what other resources that our community can tap in. They are going through a great deal of strength and insecurity. So we have to bring that trust and that compassion into conversations and see how can we all help them together.
Fairfax County is so big. Do you have suggestions for smaller schools or organizations to get started?
You're right. For us, the challenge is being huge. And what we do for one school, and that's what it takes us forever to implement something, because for when we do for one school, we have to do it for 209 schools to be equitable. I will suggest for small schools, start small, but be consistent. Whatever strategy that you want to implement, trying to be consistent so the community understand that is not a one-time solution. It's just that's the strategy the small school is doing. Try to talk to your PTA, to your group, try to do a focus group, try to have those conversations with community partners and see what is the true need in that community. How will they best communicate? Something that when there is a survey that pop up, what is the best way that you can connect with your community? We figure out that text, for example, is very useful for our multilingual families. So we request, and that's a very important topic, we request our communication office if we could send the FCPS this week, for example, a second time. Why? Because they send FCPS this week for the entire district in English on Wednesday. We try to follow and we make the effort to send it to language services, get it translated in all the languages, and then we try to meet that same deadline. Sometimes we do it a Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, and we send that to any family in their preferred language if they are registered under e-Notify. So it's very important that families are updating their information so the schools have the right information to connect with them, but also to receive that important information. So then we realize under those focus group that it's very important for families to receive it a second time, because the first time you might just miss it, but the second time over the weekend. So we send that a text over the weekend for our multilingual families to receive that message on Sundays. Why? Because maybe that's the time that we found through research and through some surveys that it was a very important time for them to connect. They had the time to read and just click and see what is happening in our schools. So that will be another suggestion. Try to figure it out at your school level. What is more impactful for your communities?
Another question came in. What other resources are available for parents who need help but are not technically able to connect with the online resources? Not everyone knows how to do it, and not all families have an internet connection.
That is true. There is also the Family Resource Center and your family liaison. Those are very important resources for the schools, for the families to reach at the school level. But I will also say that start with your teacher as well. Sometimes I feel that the families not reach directly to their teachers immediately. But if that is not possible, then you also have the family liaison, you also have your principal, and for any other resources, you have the Family Resource Center. All all those resources you can tap them at the same time. You can tap them in different occasions. You can even do it by level, like, okay, I reached to my teacher. My teacher is not answering for A, B, C reason. Maybe it's a language barrier. And remember, if you tell your teacher by email, by text that you need interpretation services, they will find you an interpreter and they will reach out back to you. If they don't, there is a form in Contact Us under FCPS that you can fill out and say, I need an interpreter to connect with my teachers. There are different ways that you can connect with your schools. Another way that I have seen, and that's what we also do, we try to meet families where they are. We try to be out in the community and provide that support. My team will go out into some festivals or events, and we try to be at the school levels as well. So when we have a family that needs support, then we go and say, okay, we understand where you're coming from, and let's help and see which office, which department, which right person do you need to connect. And we are also on the website, and you can always send us an email, and we are always happy to send you the right direction, provide you some support, and even help you for what you need. Is there any other question?
There was another question. Many on this call are from nonprofits that serve people with disabilities. Can you advise us on how we can better connect with their families with the schools, especially when the schools don't have many staff who speak Spanish?
Oh, okay. That's a very, and yes, that it is a very important. The first question was, we are huge. We might just have some resources as well. We use Talking Point, and that's a tool that really helped our teachers. And our staff in the front office, they use Talking Point for communicate with the families. Unfortunately, I think that for small district, each person can only have, I think, 300, up to 300 families or numbers. And FCPS, we got the enterprise where our schools can connect with our families using Talking Point. That's one tool that we use. I don't know if that's useful. Something else that we have used as well is having, and we do it, we teach our parents to also have the translation tools on their phones. So we build their capacity of our families, teaching them how to use them so they can, even an email from their teacher, they can go and put it into the Google Translate and be able to communicate between each other. The staff members at our school, sometimes they use it as well, so they can have those resources for them at their fingertip.
I guess one of my questions is, how do you support parents that are Latino, have a language barrier, but also have a disability and may not know how to read and write, may not know what the interpreter is saying because the interpretation is in Spanish, but vernacularly, and if that's a word, the vernacular is not understandable in terms of the different countries and what words mean. I know that them questions has a lot of components.
I think that I understand the questions. Sometimes we also meet with language services department and we in FCPS, we have culturally responsive training as well. It is very important for our staff to understand that you might speak Spanish, but the words will mean different things in different countries. So we also understand that, and we try to have our staff members, not only the interpreters, but also our teachers and our staff working at the school level to take this culturally responsive training so they can understand where our families, students are coming from. When you're sitting on an IEP, it is very important for the interpreter also to interpret in a way that the parent can understand what they are saying. So the educational jargon is very heavy for parents to understand. So then the interpreters some interpreters I have seen that they look to the parents, and if they see that it quite don't understand, they said, do you want me to expand? So the parent is also very important for parents to understand that they can ask questions. They have to build their capacity to advocate for themselves and say, I do not understand, so the interpreters can go back and, say the statement again in a different way that our parents are capable of, understanding what is the meeting about.
What do you recommend in terms of parents that may have had an interpretation um, in advocating for their child in school, and the interpreter wasn't able to communicate exactly what they were trying to say and may feel like their voice hasn't been communicated effectively? What would you say to a parent that may be experiencing that and they have limited, maybe the translator has said the translation, but it wasn't exactly what the person was trying to say?
I think that at that point, there is a language service department for FCPS, and it will be good for first notify the group in that meeting that the parents need more explanation. Like the parents need, it has to be stated that the parents need more information, and also connect with language services, which I will see what will be the best way to connect with language services if needed, and how, because usually language services is a connection internally with our staff. I am not sure, and I will be happy to get back to you to see if there is a form or a way that parents can connect and see, because the question is that the interpreters couldn't provide with the right information, correct? But the main thing will be going back to the group and say, well, I do not understand this interpreter, and the team will need to have another meeting with a different interpreter that could, convey the message in a way the parents could understand. So it will be kind of setting up a second meeting, but all the start with the parent understanding that they have to advocate for themselves, and then they say, I really do not understand. And then the communication has to be there. Sometimes I have seen it personally that when the parent said, I do not understand, then the interpreter make that effort to go back and rephrase it in a way that conveyed the message from that meeting.
Any more questions? Really want to thank you, Angela, Virginia Board of People with Disabilities, for making this possible, our ASL interpreters. And I just want to make sure that, anybody who may have a question gets their question answered. Someone did make a comment about chronic absenteeism due to changes in policy, and how the situation with Latinos and chronic absenteeism. I just wanted to put that out there. So I just wanted to say that during this time, maybe a lot of parents may feel like they don't want to speak up or ask for the appropriate language translation because they may be scared or they haven't been to school. Their child hasn't been coming to school. So I don't know if this is something that Fairfax County is monitoring.
I think that's a very important topic to bring to the leadership and see how can this topic can be addressed, and a conversation can start. I will be happy to share with the different offices to see how they're going to address and if we can come back to this setting and have the experts, the subject matter expert of chronic absenteeism as well, and how to better serve everyone. I'm going to put it in the chat. But before, leaving, I just want also to leave our information. That's our number, and the intercultural engagement team that I supervise, they answer that email address as well for any further questions you might have, or how can we support. We are really in the community to connect the community with FCPS. So when we are out, our main job is to start building that trust and how to connect your needs with different departments in our school system. We might not always have the right answer right there, but we will ensure that you will get to the right person at the right department where there are answers, where you can get some answers to any issues or concerns or questions that you may have.
I think that was all the questions, just running last minute through the chat. Thank you, Angela and interpreters. Thank you so much for information and the value, the work you do for the community. Thank you so much for the opportunity to continue learning.
No, thank you for inviting me. I truly appreciate it and always welcome to any suggestions, and I'm here to serve.
Alrighty, thank you everyone for joining us today. See you at the next provider webinar next month, the third Thursday.